welcome back to the Oz Resistance Network On Track program. I'm your host, Bill Bibbulmun. We've been missing in action for a couple of weeks out of our underground studios here in Perth. Well, the fascist state decided that we don't deserve to have a phone line, and of course everything that goes along with that has caused quite a great deal of delays, but we're back up and running now and blowing the whistle loud and clear. We've got all the bells and whistles, and we won't be going offline again. Hopefully if our backup systems see us right. Now the Keystone cops that we ran a expose on in our last show, it's come to light that there might even be a copyright breach, so we don't want to upset anyone in Hollywood, so we ran a bit of an internal competition to come up with a fitting name for this corrupt outfit operating out of the southern suburbs in Perth, among other places. And the winner of the competition, who can't be named, came up with the great handle Keystone Quinana Cops, KKK. So that's the new handle for these clowns, and any corrupt copper not actually employed at the Quinana police station, we don't mind if you go by the handle Keystone Cowboy Cops, KKK. Ladies and gentlemen, if the shoe fits, wear it. Now, whilst we've been offline, of course, I don't need to remind anybody there's been a lot of hysteria about terrorism on the streets. They send our Air Force to the Middle East. There's an uproar from the community, not just the Islamic community, but elsewhere as well. And next thing you know, there's a terrorist attack, or alleged terrorist attack, in Melbourne, and an alleged plot against Tony. Well, we can't seem to find any solid evidence of these two alleged policemen who have been stabbed. If anybody can point us to some footage anywhere at all that reveals the identity or the faces of these two alleged policemen, please point us in the right direction, because we'd dearly like to know. But, you know, coincidentally, of course, then there's the new anti-terrorist laws come in. Now, 10 years jail for exposing an ASIO agent. Well, Bill Bibbulmun's been pointing to ASIO agents for the last 25 odd years, and I don't think it's going to be stopping yet. Not whilst they're behaving in the way they are in this fascist country, where we have no human rights and no Bill of Rights. So I'm laying down the challenge to you, Mr. Abbott. Put me in jail for 10 years, because I'm going to keep exposing your phone tapping and hacking agencies that are targeting innocent citizens around this nation. Now, if anyone didn't see this week's Four Corners program on ABC, I urge you to download a streaming copy and watch it. Edward Snowden there, it's all coming out again. The NSA being exposed in the United States for targeting innocent citizens, and watch that, and hopefully after watching it you'll throw your iPhone and your Samsung and any other smartphone right in the river where it belongs, because, ladies and gentlemen, you are being watched. You are being spied on. Everything you do and say is likely being recorded. But of course, we can't tell you who's recording it, because you might get 10 years jail. Well, we'll see, won't we? We shall see. Edward Snowden, champion whistleblower. We support you, Edward, and certainly what's happening over there has been happening here for a long time. They just want to legalise it. They've been keeping your data for a long time. They've been hacking your phones and doing all manner of things to your internet connection. People, it's time to get your head out of the sand, have a good hard look at what's going on, and get out there and start doing something about it. You have no privacy. Privacy is gone. They have cameras now spying on you the size of a pinhead. How do you know where these cameras are? You can't even see them. It's outrageous. Okay, now we're going to cross over shortly to our online department, where we're going to expose some more of these corrupt cops, Keystone Cowboy cops and Keystone Kwinana cops operating in the southern districts of Perth and elsewhere. But firstly, I need to update everyone on what's happening with the ERMS blacklist. That's ERMS, aka Bright People Technologies, aka Inside Logistics, aka Carbon 6, and a whole host of other $2 shelf companies operated by these crooks out of Adelaide and Melbourne and elsewhere that have destroyed hundreds, if not thousands, of families, honest, hard-working Australian families in this nation. And finally, a law firm has popped up in the eastern states that appear to be mounting a class action against these crooks. For anybody, I urge you, that knows anyone or is directly related to being blacklisted on the ERMS blacklist in the resources sector in any state, please contact us via the OzResistance.com website, and we'll hook you up with the purveyors of the forthcoming class action. And let's hope that these crooks get finally shot out of the water, and all of these hundreds of destroyed families get some justice. Is the unlawfully removed children by the Department of Child Protection, very often done by man-hating misandrists and homosexuals working inside the Department of Child Protection. They're coming under fire, finally getting exposed. I think the population have had enough, in particular the Aboriginal community, via Noongar Radio 100.9 FM, have been very active in recent weeks, exposing the new stolen generation. And it appears once again that a class action is mounting, and the fascist state government in Western Australia and the Department of Child Protection are staring down the barrel of a major class action and retaliation from all of those disenfranchised families that have been destroyed, had their children stolen for no good reason. Okay, so once again, if you know anyone that's had their children stolen by the Department of Child Protection, please get in touch with us via the OzResistanceNetwork.com or Noongar Radio 100.9 FM, and register your interest or your grievance, and we'll hopefully put you in touch with those the group of people that are mounting the class action. So hang in there with us, because we've got quite a bit to cover and a bit of catch up to do, and there's a lot of news on the corrupt police operating here in Western Australia. So take a look at this firstly on the ERMS blacklist, and then we'll move on from there. Well, unfortunately, a technical problem. We're not able to cross to the SOS News desk to show you the expose on the ERMS blacklist, but we can show you what's been published on the Oz Resistance Network site. Thank you very much to our private investigators that went to a lot of work to uncover all of this detail about the scumbags behind this sinister blacklist, and you can view this yourself anytime, and here they are. Kingpin scumbag himself, Rick Manuel, barrister from Adelaide, and his henchman Tony Fuller. And interesting, this henchman here, Samantha Merrigan, now working on the internal audit at Telstra. So we have our suspicions about some phone hacking connections there. And the central faceless man, Shane Bakewell from Melbourne. Well, these people might find themselves on the wrong end of the law at any given time. But interestingly, two of the unions that should be defending these victims from the ERMS blacklist and haven't been, were recently dragged into the Royal Commission into union corruption. Now here's the story from the West Australian, published recently on the CFMEU, and I think anyone who's been watching the news would know about the bribery and blackmail scandals that are going on down there. Pity that union doesn't spend a bit more time looking after its blacklisted members than it does pursuing under the table payments and other things that it shouldn't be doing. The second union that's been dragged into the Union Corruption Royal Commission recently that should be defending their members from the ERMS blacklist and aren't is the Maritime Union of Australia. Pump their chests, always beating their chests about being the most militant union in Australia and looks after their members and so on and so forth. Well, after 8 years of research, we can't find a single thing that this union has done to defend their members from the unlawful ERMS blacklist. What a joke. Look at this, $1 million payment from subcontractor Saipem to the Maritime Employees Training Limited, set up by the MUA. An almost identical situation that Julia Gillard and Bruce Wilson and the AW have found themselves explaining to the Royal Commission in recent times. But what'll get done about it? Freedom fighters? Probably not much at all. Probably swept under the carpet. It's been going for 14 years, this blacklist, so who knows what. Now, just to refresh your memory on what's going on with the Keystone Cops, back on July 12, Bill Bibbulmun published this about the Keystone Cops, and this is them raiding Robert Paul CPO's residence and parking their cowboy wagons in a circle out the front of the house. We've got a bit more to do on this. Bit more to do on this story yet. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They just keep coming. I don't know who was chasing the criminals in the Southern Districts on the night this happened. Going around chasing whistleblowers on behalf of the government so they can shut down whistleblowers, and meanwhile the criminals are just getting away with everything. Unbelievable. Now, at the same address, Robert Paul CPO's house, in 2013, just a short time before that date, on the 26th of July, you just saw the wagons being parked in a circle. This copper came to the front door and then shut down the power to the house. Just have a look at this. Right, here he is. Comes to the door and pushes the button. He's got the phone shoved in his ear. Got the phone shoved in his ear. He's talking to his boss uptown. Oh, he's not answering the door, boss. What'll I do? Oh, just go and shut down the power. Go around and turn all the power switches off. Off he goes, around the corner, and shuts down the power. Now, too bad if you had someone on a life support inside the house, isn't it? Well, they just go and die. They don't care. Well, talk about invasion of privacy and trespass. Unbelievable. Now, this copper, we'll just have a look at his face again. This copper denied the crime for nigh on 3 months. because the owner of the property filed a complaint with the Corruption and Crime Commission about this mongrel turning the power off. And get a closer look at his face here. He's from Kwinana, of course. Another Keystone Kwinana cop. Pushes the button, he's got that phone shoved in his ear, and then off he goes around the corner and shuts the power down. Unbelievable. Well, the outcome of it is here. 3 months later, after they tried to shut down the investigation, 2 witnesses appeared. Oh, you've got witnesses. Yeah. And Robert Paul CPA's nominated 2 witnesses that witnessed the whole event, but this cop is denying he shut the power down. And all of a sudden, in comes this apology letter from the fascist WA police. Oh yeah, sorry about shutting the power down there. Your complaint that the power to your property having been turned off by an attending officer has been sustained, and the appropriate managerial action has been taken in relation to that officer. Well, they don't name the officer, of course, because somebody might go and sue him. Written by the Divisional Superintendent on the 9th of October. Well and truly, several months after the complaint has gone to the Corruption and Crime Commission, this copper finally admits it. Well, the assertion that I'm going to make is that the appropriate managerial action taken in relation to that officer was probably a promotion to senior sergeant. Because that's the way they work here in the fascist state of Western Australia. No one seems to ever get in trouble, they just do as they please. Unbelievable. Now, we've got a long way to go yet with this crowd from the Southern Metropolitan District of Wapol trading as WA Police. Have a look at this. 2 constables from Kwinana, 2 Keystone Kwinana cops charged after assaulting a driver in their driveway. And here it is. And that good old Carl's hat there, Carl O'Callaghan, he's the boss of these Keystone Kwinana cops. 2 traffic policemen have been charged by the Corruption and Crime Commission over their alleged behaviour following a police pursuit in August last year. A 29-year-old constable has been charged with starting a false prosecution and assault causing bodily harm, while a 50-year-old senior constable has been charged with falsifying a record. Boy, this has got parallels to the Robert Paul CPA breach of bail case. It must be common practice, just an everyday event in Kwinana Police Station. We'll just fabricate any old document, we'll just lay charges. The officers, both in the traffic enforcement group based in Kwinana, pursued a driver until he pulled into his home driveway in Baldivis. The CCC will allege the driver got out of his car and did not resist or obstruct police before being assaulted. He claims a younger officer threw him to the ground, kneed him in the back or the neck and repeatedly hit him with a baton while he was restrained. He claims the officer signed a prosecution notice charging him with obstructing a public officer. So they've assaulted him and then charged him with obstruction. Oh, that's really good, yeah. That's an everyday event in Kwinana, apparently. The CCC say the second police officer was driving the police pursuit vehicle and allegedly provided false information in an evidence statement he completed over the incident. Both officers have been signed to desk duties and will appear before Rockingham Magistrates Court on October 10. Well, the OzResistance Network will certainly be at Rockingham Magistrates Court on October 10 to try and discover if these 2 officers just happen to be Officer Ingram and Officer Meachow. Or Meachow, or however he pronounces his name. Corrupt anyway, so whatever. Interesting. Unbelievable. So, still sticking with the South Metropolitan Police District, officer charged with stealing. A police senior constable has been charged with stealing from a sporting and camping store. Mandurah detectives were charged a 44-year-old male senior constable from the East Metropolitan area with stealing offences. Goodness me, what does this guy do when he gets near the evidence room at the drug squad? Oh, you can only shudder to think. Unbelievable, only in the fascist state of Western Australia apparently. Boy, now, you might recall that we've been exposing the fact that Senator Eric Betts is involved in a major cover-up of the child rape of former military cadets in the former high school Australian Cadet Service. Well, it doesn't stop in Australia. Apparently, across the ditch over in New Zealand, we've got a similar problem. Former Army commander owns up to Waru secrets. Yeah, sexual assaults, goodness knows what. And so, what will they do in New Zealand? They haven't got a Senator or Betts over there, so it might actually make it to the courts. Who knows? Ah, dear oh me. Ladies and gentlemen, the criminals in this country are wearing uniforms and carrying guns. Now, it's about time the likes of Premier Colin Barnett and his Gina Hardface Police Minister did something about cleaning up the Western Australian police force. Well, the corruption never ends with the KKK, the Keystone Cowboy Cops, but we're running out of time. Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring you our next story, which was a Mandurah officer, police officer, has been charged with 12 counts of incest. Only in the fascist state of WA, freedom fighters. Until next time, stay active, stay safe, and keep up the good fight. I'm Bill Bibbulmun. See you later.